Dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Hi, hello everybody, hello, hi. Boom, 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 boom. Oh wait, let me fix this. And we'll lock it again. Hi, look at a dem. Look at a dem, bruh. For those of you in the server, we were in the server watching anime. They were watching a different anime and decided to, we all just decided to swap to something else. And I was like, oh, I could put on Blue Lock. So I put on Blue Lock. We watch one episode, a damn rage quits. Because as an extremely side character got eliminated. Not any of the main cast. Adem goes, they did him so dirty, I'm out of here, and leaves the call. That was my goat, dude. Clearly he was your goat. It's like, oh, I like him too, but oh my goodness. Can I be evil today? What does that include? I got so mad. Yes, you did. Alright, we're gonna go in though. We're not gonna take too long. You know what I want to check out? Because I don't see it anymore, but the option to like... Hi! I don't see the option to see like basically the TikTok live battle pass anymore. I'm gonna have to look for that after the live. Because I wonder if I have any of those like boosters anymore. I need to start using them again. Let's get to work. So now we know who the Yatagarasu really was. And yet, there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons crossed the country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggling them in, huh? We will have to... Oh my gosh. This is all in one sitting. I mean, this is the last part of it. It should be, because we literally arrested the Yatagarasu. So I'm assuming that's part of the ending. There's usually, like... What's it called? 2 parts for each thing. Like, 2 beginning, 2 middle, 2 end. Or at least 1 beginning, 2 middle, 2 end. Something along those lines. And clearly, when we did that whole thing and arrested someone, like, it was a big deal. So I have to assume this is the last part. We will need to open a new line of investigation on this on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. Remaining evidence has been rearranged. Ooh. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir. Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us. I feel like... I love Kay, but I don't think Kay should be here. I don't know if that's just me. I love Kay, but I don't think Kay should be here right now. This is so traumatizing. Like, yes, of course she wants to find out what happened with her dad. Like, she did find out, technically. But it's like, to be face to face with your father's murderer after going through all that trauma and, like, seeking out the killer this whole time, finally being face to face with her. And she doesn't really gaff either. She has no remorse. She doesn't care. That's gotta be traumatizing. Like, could you imagine? And now she's just kind of around right now when she kind of needs like a moment to like sit down. Like, I don't know, girl. Maybe we gotta get you in therapy. This piece of evidence from the KG8 incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you'd please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir. This man, it's Manny Kochan. And he's holding a knife in his hand. And this looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building. An apartment building? How do you figure that? Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG-8 incident. And the crime scene was the victim's own apartment. So this footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building. At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes. Somehow, someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Amano. Ooh. I could see how this would have been a definitive piece, and why someone would want to hide it. Oh my gosh, blah. But it's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir. Mind you, one of the victims is literally the guy in the video. Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader. Where? Wait, what was that? Huh? That bit you just played now. Please show it to me again. Ooh, look at the flags. Look at the flags, too. This car. This is something we cannot overlook. Why is that, sir? Is it either the person or the flags? What are we thinking? Hold on, let me put my phone on silent. I'm gonna go with the flags, because we can't really see the person. Oh, because Manny's also in the car. That's Manny. Okay. So it has to be the flags, right? And this is the national flag of the Principality of Codopia. And because it was the national flag, and because it has the national flag on it, we know this has to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was a government car doing there? Is Alba a part of it? Because, I don't know, he's not really trustworthy to me either. Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edgeworth. So you were here all this time. Yuck. Why does he move like that? Ambassador Alba. Thank you very much for continuing the investigation, even at this time of night. If only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I'm truly sorry. This wasn't your fault, sir. This had nothing to do with how careful you were. You idiot, Quistis! You couldn't chase after a simple thief! Ooh. Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that? Yeah, he's definitely a part of it. Right? I'm not tripping, chat. He's definitely a part of it. Excuse me? I heard you apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down. And we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. Mind you, it hasn't been a full day. It hasn't even been a full day. You're scaring the visitors away. Why are there even visitors at the moment, anyways? So I hope that you can understand how I feel. Well, we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues. Why don't we leave the rest of the Alabastian and Babylonis police? Ambassador, we were so close, just a little more and... Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway, right? So he's definitely a part of it, yeah. That's true. However, as he said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Alabastian soil, in which case we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends? Shifu, we found Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Shifu, this way. Here he go to come argue again. Yo. Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly. Mind you, he got shot. If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor. Agent Lang! Why have you returned? Because I have to solve this case, no matter what. Well, I'm sorry to inform you. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable. At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close. Ambassador Alba. I get it now. I really do. Oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel. No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder! You... No... The... killer? Do you really mean that, Agent Lang? Wolves don't lie. Who is it? Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena. Lang Ji says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was Damask 2's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Francisca von Karma. He's so stupid, bro. He pissed me off so fucking bad. I'm sitting here thinking he's gonna say it's this old geriatric fart. I was the killer? Hey, wait, but that's impossible. Yeah. Although that whip is actually quite... Yow! Hold your tongue and that ludicrous remark you were about to make. Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of murder? Yeah, I am. He doesn't appear to be joking. Hey, sis. I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything? Ooh, okay, there we go. I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved rather freely between Alabast and Babal, did you not?
Objection!
And where is your evidence that I am the killer? I was getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission? With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Good. Let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset. Not that I blame her. I expected that you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep up that nose of yours. We'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that. Hold
it!
Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part, and so that I may clean up my superior's mess. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery. Hi. Oh, in that case, I want to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in the Alabast yet. Blah. If you let Kay in, then you gotta let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing while Miss Von Karma's in trouble. Hey, Gummy. Let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay? Okay. I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah. I'm fired up and raring to go. As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over. Sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride. Very well. But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now, let's go. I'm not gonna lie. This game is not good at having red herrings. I genuinely think it's Ambassador Alba. The nanosecond he tried to end the case early for basically no fucking reason. Who the fuck is trying to visit your embassy when the two people just got murdered? On both sides. On both sides. Doesn't matter which country's embassy you're entering. Like, what the fuck? Why would I want to come visit you? Okay, now. Let's first go over the facts one more time. Manny Cochin's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babal. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then, the body of Damask II, Mr. Kashino, was found here in the Alabastian ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this Primaduck statue. And that this is actually Babal's statue. In this case, no matter how I look at it. Sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled it off.
Objection!
Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you're saying? Of course I do, sis. I'm serious. This whole time I'm thinking that he was close to, like, Francisca to a degree, because why is he calling her, like, sis and shit? He doesn't call anyone that. Let's see. Hi! You're on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. So, while people were distracted by the Yatagatasu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection!
Even if all of that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons? Don't worry. I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines. Hey now. Yo, that's crazy, he caught the whip. Look, sis. I thought I already told you. I'm not messing around here. This This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring. But Sheena certainly is tied to the smuggling ring. He's right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine? Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already! Franziska, you need to calm down. Because you only know the facts of the Alabastian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it. What? But don't worry, I'm taking this seriously as well. And I will prove your innocence. That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well. Here's the thing that gets me. It takes time to go back and forth between each side of the embassy. Like, that's a big-ass building. Are they just ignoring how long travel times take? Have they not considered that this could just be multiple smuggling ring members that just simply didn't get caught? Like, holy shit. If this is some black market shit, there's like a whole bunch of shit going on behind the scenes that they're not even talking about. Of course. And I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of Damask 2. Remember, Nomi, that would be too easy. It's like common sense is just not a fucking thing sometimes in Ace Attorney. I love it, though. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Damask 2 is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis. Then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do. Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. Let's get started. Yes, let's. One of Alabast's knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Kochang. And the murder weapon in the killing of Damask 2 is Babal's Primadux statue. Somehow, these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. It also ignores the aspect that Manny Cochin was very obviously also a part of this. Like, I'm not tripping, right? Like, he literally told the Ambassador Palino for the Babal's embassy, he literally told him that he was going to figure out the statue situation, and somehow the statue is over here now. How are they going to say that this was... How are they going to say that this was Franziska? How does that make sense when Manny is clearly the reason that a lot of this stuff got mixed up? Like, they literally just, and I mean just confirmed that Manny absolutely was working for the smuggling ring. Like, 100%, no denying it at all. Here we go. Like, if anything, he has more of a reason to be, like, side-eyed, considering he was working with, like, the Yatagarasu, the evil Yatagarasu. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Franziska will remain a suspect? You got it, Mr. Prosecutor. So why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I've worked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss. Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself. What are you talking about? By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Ji never said anything to that effect. You prosecutor. Who do you think you are, speaking about Lang Ji's proverbs like that? I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you need to see the truth. It has to be this one.
Objection!
Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? Damask 2 was killed with Babal's Primaduck statue. Yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabast's Primaduck statue go? To Babal. Precisely. And if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies. I guess so. But you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items. Only that the sis... What? Only that the sis is the only one who could have done it? Okay. Only that sis is the only one who could have done it. $60, by the way. Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabast and Babal is her. Is that really true? Was there no one else who could have traveled between the two countries? Naturally, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall, the Yatagarasu, right?
Objection!
Is that really so, Agent Lang? What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guards said, along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily.
Objection!
But suppose there was some other way, other than through the theater doors. What other way? The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I point it out, it would open up a whole new possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility. Looks like you've got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route. Where is it? It's the picture. Yeah!
Take that!
Just flying outside. Lang is locking in for real. I'm locking in! Because he's been pissing me the fuck off. You were just proven that prosecutors are not the problem. But there's a whole issue with the system in general. That there's actually genuinely fucking evil people working with you in your company, doing what you do by your side. And you're still out here trying to frame a fucking prosecutor. Please lock the fuck in. Well, prosecutors did his family dirty. Okay. And? Like, oh my god. It's always some stupid shit. Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo? Like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. Hold on. Oops. I meant to press E. I want to take a closer look at the picture. Can we? Since the coat was over there, could this be another coat or something? And I won't allow you to take back what you said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. Also, like, why haven't we talked about the fact that people could, like, what if people were just throwing that shit? Like, am I tripping, chat? Is that not a possibility? That they just start throwing shit around? Like, they're just throwing shit around? Like, what if they threw the statue over? Who knows? But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible? Oh, don't tell me. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation. It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within these photos' blurry trailed shadow is... Don't fucking tell me.
Take that!
Oh my god! Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object. The Primonux statue replica. You can't be serious. Yatagarasu, or rather, Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. No fucking way! I wasn't being serious!
Not so fast!
Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation. I know I did. She launched it through the air? Ha! And how exactly did she do that? What is his problem? Don't start it now. Don't start doing all that. He's literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? So just before the murder, Franziska was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh? What are you up to now, pretty boy? See, they always go down this path. They always do this. Because why did he say that? There's gotta be ship art, right? I'm not tripping. I mean, to be fair, it's fandom. I wouldn't be surprised. Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too. I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about it from you. Ugh. Franziska, I feel that I still don't have enough information. which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? Would like you to please testify your movements until you came into this room. Alright, let's try this out your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can hell. No! As you wish. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Franziska, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Franziska about her testimony in more detail. I'm gonna press her.
Hold it!
At that time, Damask's 2 body had yet to be found in this room. Is that correct? That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence. A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. I guess. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you, when I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill watering his plants. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. Alright then. Add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details. So Ambassador Alba was in the room at the time oh my gosh. Hi Damien, hi. Hey, hello. So Ambassador Alba was in the room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on this side. However, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of oh my gosh. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct? I suppose it is a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not a immovable wall. I knocked before he entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me. With a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know. Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children. The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them are in full... Y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Okay, as long as we can all see that. All 4 of them are in full bloom. Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now? I said the flowers were growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What I do not understand. I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony. Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box. There weren't 4 when we were there.
Objection!
Yeah, there goes somebody car farting in the background. Franziska, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. Hold on. There we go. I hate doing this to my mic, but I'd rather do this than have that picked up. With this piece of evidence. It does appear that way. Ha! I knew it! I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis! Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this? Yes, sir! If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir! All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really that important at this juncture, Miles? At the very least, it's a contradiction in this enigmatic, oh my god, case. My tongue too big for my mouth, I'm telling you right now. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Huh. Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth. I understand. I won't rest until I inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Yeah, let's look at the fucking holes. This patch of soil looks as though it has had something removed from it. What are you Oh my gosh. Ooh, hiccup. What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here waiting for an explanation, you know? Did you know, Agent Lang? Flowers are best appreciated in silence. Looks like 2 things were pulled out of this flower box. The name of these flowers. I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they're actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well, and are well supported by these plant supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. Ugh. Miles Edgeworth! Hurry up and shut this man up for me already! There we go, I can fix my mic again. I feel so free. I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? The stick! The stick that the passion flowers are on. The stick that the passion flowers are on. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. The sticks! The sticks! The sticks! The sticks with dirt on them! The sticks with dirt on them! They're not hairpins or chopsticks or anything. They're for the freaking plants. They have the dirt on them right there. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight. But I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence.
Take that!
Sheena, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her. That look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers. And so what? He's just so confidently, like, stupid. Like, it irritates me. Because I like him, and I really want to like him more than I like him. But sometimes he makes it difficult. Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Hiya! Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in Alabast. But somehow, they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow. Just like the knife and the statue. Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal. How did these support sticks find their way to Babal, and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up here. Or ended up there. Aha! So that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. It's just another stick, isn't it? And so it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. No way. Did they use the crossbow? They were used with something in this room. That's when it all comes into focus. Are they like crossbow arrows? The object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is... It's a crossbow, like she shot it over. That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not really suggesting... I am. These hair sticks, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows. Hiya! I've done it. I figured out the common thread that connects the two offices. Oh my gosh. But this thread is yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together. Okay. Mr. Prosecutor. Hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all! So Babal's statue was draped in the Yatagatasu's clothes and then shot over here? Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go as far with the statue tied to them. I don't think I need to tell you that the Prima Duck statues didn't sprout wings. You're a realist, after all, aren't you? The Prima Duck statues didn't sprout wings? Of course they didn't. I'm glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more, and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The Prima Duck statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time, and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. I think the wire's a part of it too, right?
Hold it!
But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct? But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? That's why they hid the wire, too. It was tied to a wire and they put the thing kind of like ziplined it across. Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing. No, that's not necessarily true. What? What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions. It's the launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statues themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues. It's the wire. If it wasn't a statue that was tied to the arrows, then what did the crossbow launch? It was the wire. That's why they hit it. That's why they hit it. Hold on. Finally. Finally, we've reached this point in our discussion. For I present to you that which was carried by the arrow from the crossbow. I get it now, Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you're trying to say. You're saying that the wire was... Oh my gosh. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Kochin's office. So you see how the Alabastian, ambassador's office is all the way up there? Then the other office is down below, like a couple floors down. So it'll also have, gravity working in its favor to launch that over. Okay. All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabastian embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Babalese embassy. What you're claiming is really what happened. I can see how the Alabast Prima Duck statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statue down the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then, what about Babal's Prima Duck statue? The dark shadow in this photo is clearly flying away from Babal. I mean, Babal's statue is not made of, actual, strong metals. Going in the opposite way of gravity, from the 3rd floor to the Babalese embassy, up to the 5th floor of the Alabastian embassy. How do you explain that? Aha. I think I finally see how the curates behind this whole trick work. Agent Lang, the motion used behind this trick. I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head. Motion? What motion? It's rotary motion. The ceiling fan. The ceiling fan that fell onto the fucking floor. What the hell was that? Did y'all hear that? I believe it was done via rotary motion. If two statues were transported simultaneously... Simultaneously? Get real! The statues would collide somewhere along the way. Did I ever say there was only one line of wire between the two offices? If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to a circular belt, oh my gosh. If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed. Golly. Langji says, don't object and call a success what is beyond responsibility. Taking into account the tension difference between the two wires, the top would sag too much to the point where the statues would collide anyway. Agent Lang. As you know, the Prima statue is a one-of-a-kind national treasure, and the fact that Babal's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible. Lang Ji says, oh! Here's what I believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in the two different rooms. Is there a chance that Manny Kochin was still alive? Because he was the one that wanted to switch the statues, right? Is there a chance that Manny was still alive during this? The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Hold on. Let me bring the mic a little closer to my mouth so I can lay back a little bit. Whew. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the two of them covered the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to Babal, where it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock. QED. She whipped the fuck out of him. And this proves it right. This proves it, right, Agent Lang? That I'm not the killer. Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Mind you, this is her life. This is literally like her life. Her name, her image. Like, whatever. Whatever. Talking about dessert and shit. Sometimes these people really, like, are out of touch. And when you play Ace Attorney, like, they really be forgetting that this is someone's life on the line. Here we go. Right, Mr. Prosecutor. The proof is in the pudding, as it were. Pudding is a nice dessert. So, you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain someone back home with me as a souvenir. Oh. I agree that as long as there's no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I have laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence. The fan. One more. This should be interesting. You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor. The thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire. I believe it is right here in this very room. It's the fan. They used both fans. The fans in the other room fell, though.
Take that!
Ha! Looks like you dropped another bomb on us again. And the last piece to the trick are 2 pulleys. Precisely. The ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case. And thanks to that fact, there is one installed in each of these offices. The ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. He just making animal noises now. Fuck, bro. Anything but taking a break. Mind you, he's shot. It turned out that his people are the ones that are actually working with the fucking smuggling ring. And he's still trying to get us fucked up. Like, golly, bro. Take a breather. Take a break. This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypassed the impenetrable security. You really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. I bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know the big shot. You know who the big hotshot that set this up is. Oh my god. You know who the big hotshot that set this up. That set up this real life stage show is, don't you? Oh. The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both the Alabastian and Beverly's offices, and that the passion flower support stakes could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case. Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food. Why are you so hesitant, Miles Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do? A single point of the finger here, in this case, will explode into an international incident. Ooh. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now, but to rush in. There is a piece of evidence that will point us to who the mystery mastermind is.
Take that!
This smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had time to grow so big that Miss Van Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited this room today. Hi! On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both offices had ceiling fans tells us that the person has very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So, as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Quercus Alba. Like, duh. What we playing? Ace Attorney Investigations. The first game out of the 2. Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth? Ooh. I am certain of what I'm saying. And I'm sure that he is the culprit. Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor. What was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all that stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that? I understand your need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd. Just one thing, huh? The one single-end result Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. If we were to examine the focus of this complex trick, I believe we will finally find the answers to everything. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. The statue. Not that one, but his statue.
Take that!
I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Prima Duck statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for the reason than King Prima Duck himself? I see. Ambassador, we'll be examining that statue now with or without your permission. I know that's right. Alpha. Beast mode. So obviously we know about the handprint. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Oh, we can look at the head? Or is it the shield? Is it just connected to the shield? No, I think it's the head. This guy kind of looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike that he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador? I suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. It looks like a gap. Hey, you're right! Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret? Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction. What? Hurry up and open it, Miles. Alright, here goes. Ooh. Is that Zhang Fa money? Wow, it really did open up! Hey, what's this thing that fell out? I think that's Zhang Fa currency. I believe a more thorough examination of it is required. What in the... is this? Hey! Is this what I think it is? It's a plate for making counterfeit bills! Somehow it appears we've at long last arrived at the exit to this complex labyrinth. Finally, fuck! Like, we know it's him. Just wasting my fucking time. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates. And the reason why the replica was smuggled into the Alabas to begin with. The Prima Duck statue can only be handled by the ambassador or the secretariat. And the replica had... No, you want to bet that that rule was made specifically because they're both corrupt? Just realized that I don't know what Nomi looks like. And the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Sheena, the ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damask II. Surprised by the thief, the ambassador raised the replica statue at Damask II, and... that's what that fucking chud gets for coming in there anyways. And then, in order to frame the Steel Samurai of the murder, he covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba? You're the leader of the smuggling ring? My country is a mess, and it's all because of you? You're the one who killed Damask too? Answer us! Me when he's about to be like, oh, my heart! Oh, 'cause I'm an old man, my heart! If I was him, Loki, I would absolutely fake a heart attack right now. I'm not gonna lie. I would be on the ground. I would look like that scene from fucking Stranger Things when Will started having like a seizure or something. That would have been me, full tweaked out. I would have been like, no, look, see, I can't answer. Quick, play dead. Like I would have been doing the works. And what would they say? What would they say? Oh, he's faking. Maybe, but more likely they're gonna be like, oh shit, well, he's an old ass fucking man. Let's help him first. Like, something. What are these Ace Attorney names? Damask? Are they French? It's a name for one of the thieves. It's not his actual name. I never thought that you would figure things out to this level. Yeah, it was kind of obvious when you tried to fucking stop the investigation. However, there is one point I disagree with you on. He's about to be like, that I did any of this. I'm actually innocent, guys. The head of the smuggling ring was Mr. Cochin. Quit screwing around. I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. There was one thing I'm sure of. It's that you're the real ringleader, Quirkus Alba. It's not good to speak with such subjectivity, you know, Agent Lang. Subjectivity? My conclusion is anything but, and is the result of logic and investigation. Logic and investigation? Only seconds ago, you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. You're a fucking moron. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you? Exactly, that's what I thought. The fuck? Bye. It looks like you still don't get it. Okay. It looks like you still don't get why I came back. Excuse me? You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fangs into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you. Okay. What? Agent Lang, I demand an explanation. Sorry, sis. I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning. Thank God. Oh my gosh. My goat's not stupid. My goat's not washed. You did? I knew this whole incident had been meticulously planned and prepared for. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious. But without the ambassador's permission... Because I thought for a second, okay, that might be what he was doing. But then, I'm not gonna lie, he went a little too hard into making Francisca look like the bad guy once we were already in the room. But without the ambassador's permission, we couldn't get in to take another look around. So that's why you put on this big show to accuse Francisca of the murder. Using Francisca as the bait, you were able to gain us entry in investigative rights. Yeah. If I hadn't done that, I doubt the ambassador would have given the okay to poke around. So that's what all this was about. Very well. I will forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth. Agent Lang, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you. His head is so fucking big. I'm not tripping, right? Like, his head is massive. Like, his head and neck area is so much bigger than Miles. And Miles, like, has a pretty... He's decently proportional. I don't know. You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor, that somehow, if we were able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic. The evidence detectives collect combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That's just as it should be in a prosecutor-detective team, right? I don't know about all that. But one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him. You're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you? Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto the sis. The sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me. Agent Lang, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Objection!
Don't be such a sore loser! If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity. Dignity? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, then I would like to first see some of the things you call evidence. Is this not him technically admitting, though? Because he's clearly being like, yeah, no, I deadass did that shit, but at the same time, I'm not going to admit to it. I tell you, I knew nothing, really. I didn't even know that a counterfeit plate was hidden inside that statue.
Objection!
You swapped a real statue that vested your country the authority to rule for a fake. It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything. It doesn't make sense? Where does it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense? Ugh. He's really got us. No, he doesn't. Is he good? Is he having a moment? Because, like, no, it doesn't make sense. He's like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Like, oh, okay. He's turned the entire situation around against us. I mean, we literally have on tape the guy that he's saying is the leader using a black card as, like, a tip to essentially be like, oh yeah, you have to do this. I'm the ringleader telling you to do this. So obviously he's not the ringleader. The proof that Interpol has been after. Oh, I didn't mean to skip that. Hold on. The proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. Is there nothing I can use to break this case wide open? The trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret. The tape was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. Why is it going so slow? They're both illegal evidence. Okay, but we're not in court yet. No matter what, a protector of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence, but we're not in court. Needless to say, we Von Karmas are commanded to achieve nothing but victory, and by any means necessary. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. I no longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma, and I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What creed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will sully my hands in illegality. If I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law and what is justice? Which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? And that choice is one I must make by my own hand, here and now. Ooh. What are we thinking, guys? We're gonna use the trump card? I agree. There is no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man. When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law, too, crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is what I must now show. Ambassador Elba. I wonder if you might recognize this. Oh, I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life. The way he totally locked in the second he saw it. It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to his subordinates. Oh, is that what it is? This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KG-8 incident 10 years ago. By a man by the name of Mr. Manny Cochin. Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession? Because it was hand-delivered to me. By a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu gave you that to you? Don't talk nonsense, and let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that that card contains directions from the ringleader? I'll have you know that the card is not the only thing I was given. What? This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG-8 incident. The KG-8 incident? The card in the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate. Oh, very interesting. I must admit, I am very curious now. Very curious indeed in these case-deciding pieces of evidence you presented. The prey the Yatagarasu has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man who has had free reign for 10 long years to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me. So, what is this interesting thing that you wanted to show me? The trump card and the videotape. These two pieces of evidence together make for the ultimate hand. This is where the real meaning behind Detective Bat's words will be realized. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. What you see here is security footage shot just before the KG-8 murder occurred. From this footage, we know that the card is a directives card from the smuggling ring. Blah. This is the section that proves that card was used to relay an order. Obviously in the hand.
Take that!
As you can see, Mr. Cochin is holding the card in his right hand. I see. The killer is indeed holding a card with the exact same design on it. But that card and the one you have, just because they look the same doesn't mean that they are, does it now? But there is a very easy way for me to prove that they are, in fact, one and the same. All we have to do is simply take a look at this. The blood on the card, right? This dark red blood. Yes, this is your proof. Proof that the orders on this card were played out in that terrible tragedy. The blood belonged to the victim of the KG-8 incident. With a bit of DNA testing, we can very easily verify that as a fact. If you have no objections, then I'd like for you to take a look at this next piece of footage. This car that passed by in front of the victim's apartment building. It's an official Cadopian government car. What? Detective Gumshoe, if you could please magnify the footage. That is not the same shot. Don't piss me the fuck off. Why is that shit crisp as hell? They didn't even put, like, window, like, glass window on it, too. Or anything. This area of the footage directly links the smuggling ring with Cadopia. Look at that shit over there, too. It's right here.
Take that!
The shape of this pocket, and the directives card in it. It tells us that without a doubt, this person in this car is Mr. Cochin. The license plate on the car was also captured by the security camera. And with it, we can easily find out who was sitting in this car on that day 10 years ago. Which is why I can say with confidence that you were riding in this car on that day. He's mad as fuck. Huh. Is he about to stand straight? That's what I thought. You've done well, boy, to make it this far. However, about your claim that I was riding in the car at that time, that's going to be mighty difficult to prove. How so? The Principality of Cadopia no longer exists, so naturally, all records from that time period also no longer exist. That arrogance. What he really means is he's already erased all traces of them. Are we finished here, boy? That was the thing that I saw. Remember, I was like, "There's something over there" before I clicked on the thing on his pocket. The medal that he has right there was in a reflection. Are we finished here, boy? The only weapon I have left to me now is this piece of footage. Look, you can see it right there. There must be something here that I can use against him.
Take that!
What the? Ambassador Alba! Yes, what is it? You were once an army man in the service of Cadopia. And it was you who made the many missions you participated in success, correct? Why the sudden backhanded praises, boy? Although, to be sure, the brilliant medals on my breast were awarded to me during the era of Cadopia. But now I am the only one who owns this particular medal. In that case, the only person it could be who is sitting in this car is you! How do you figure that? By the medal captured here in this footage. It is clearly the same exact medal as the one on your chest. What? What the fuck? His face? This is how it will be. But I won't look back. For this is the path that I have chosen. You've moved me with your devotion to this case, Mr. Edgeworth. Why is he taking such an arrogant stance with me? It's almost looking impossible, isn't it? His beard is fucked up too, golly. For the lot of you to have come this far, it looks like I might just lose our little game this time. You might lose the game this time? You don't get another round, Mr. Ambassador. Is that a fact? Very well. I've decided to confess and admit my guilt. You're going to confess? And I will accept whatever punishment that may come as a result. What the? Regarding the Damask II murder, I admit it. I did it out of self-defense. You're claiming it was justified self-defense? Damask II attacked me, and I felt that my life was in danger. If I hadn't done what I did, I might be the one you found dead instead of him. Ha 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 ha! What a pathetic performance. I'm not giving you one. Wow, you two really know how to laugh at inappropriate times. Why? Okay. If you wish to claim it was justified self-defense, then we need some evidence. It's always the evidence with you, isn't it? But if that's what you require, I'll provide it. That man left a mark on me when he attacked. What? I don't particularly want to show it off, but this is proof that it was in self-defense. Mind you, he could have just done that to himself, for all we know. Okay. I'm an old man, and sometimes I don't pay enough attention when I should. But Damask II didn't have a single weapon on his body. Oh wait, but Damask II didn't have a single weapon on his body! Hold on, it's nothing to get worked up over, because I hid the weapon. You hid it? I'm sorry, but as you know, a murder is a murder, even if it's in self-defense. And I couldn't let it become public, seeing as how I am an ambassador. This is the weapon you seek, my special bonsai trimming shears. Oof, it's covered in blood. There's no proof that he didn't do that to himself, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's starting to feel like it's gonna end, and we're gonna have to keep playing. He was trembling quite badly during our struggle. But that's when he grabbed the shears that were sitting in my office and attacked. So you see, it was an act of self-defense. But you just said you were struggling with him already. Couldn't he? Okay. Is he right, Mr. Edgeworth? Since he has both a wound and the weapon that caused it, it's enough to declare it so. No way! Oh, which reminds me. I guess there is still one more accusation I need to resolve. Smuggling and counterfeiting. Unfortunately, all of that is my secretary's doing. I had no knowledge it was going on. Stop spewing nonsense. You're trying to throw my investigation under the bus with your desperation. If you want to get real honest, everything in this case can be connected to you. The murder of Damask was done in self-defense? In my trials, no man escapes his crime alive! Perhaps so, if you were my opponent in court. However, there is one very important fact that I think you may have forgotten. And what is that? That's what you mean. Extraterritoriality. That's right. This embassy sits on what is effectively Alabastian soil, so any trial that is to be held will be held in Alabast. Therefore, the crime I just admitted to will never be tried in your courts. Agent Lang, what is Interpol's stance on this? Agents investigate. That's our job. The judgment of people who have confessed to their crime. That's the court's job. Ugh. And I've already confessed to all of my crimes, Agent Lang. Furthermore, by the very nature of my position, I have full extraterritorial rights. These rights are effective, even on your country's soil. Therefore, no matter where a crime may take place, I will never stand trial in one of your courts. That arrogance and your expression, that's nothing like the face of someone who is ready to accept the consequences. Don't tell me you have your own country's judicial system you're eating right out of your hands. These crimes, as you all speak of so seriously of, to me, this has all been nothing more than a game. You may chase me out of this embassy with your accusations, but it's no big deal. Alabast has numerous other embassies in other countries around the world. All you would accomplish is you would change the backdrop of our little game. These two layers of protection that extraterritoriality provides him. This is why he is one of those who cannot be brought to court. You see now, don't you? I live in a whole different world than you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and fetch your eviction papers. This definitely seems like a case of self-harm, for sure. Ugh. Is there nothing we can do? He most definitely attacked first. Even if there was a chance that that guy really did attack him with the shears, I can't do more, bruh. There's no way there isn't gonna be another chapter even after this. Like, there's no way. So I gotta get off for now. I gotta take a break. Because if I keep playing, if I play for like 2 hours, I know I'm gonna get so tired. I'm gonna get so exhausted. Oh my gosh. Alright, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye, bye.